26 minutes after the hour of 7, and we're going to dive right into yet another conversation. We're focusing on Caribbean and Pacific Agro-Food Forum. It's coming up, well, it started on the 2nd of November and runs right through to the 6th, right here in Barbados. And to tell us about it, we have Michael Hailu with us, the Director of Technical Center for Agricultural and Rural Corporation, or the CTA. Good to have you here. And we also have Mr. Jethro Green with us, Chief Coordinator of the Eastern Caribbean Trading Agriculture Development Organization. It's a mouthful, but you've got a big role as well. Good morning to you.
Morning.
All right. Well, let's discuss, first of all, your work in the sector. Let's start with you, Mr. Hailu. Tell us about your work, your role in all this.
Yes. My organization, it's called the Technical Center for Agricultural Cooperation. We are based in the Netherlands, and we are an intergovernmental organization working under what's known as the ACP, African Caribbean Pacific Group, that brings 79 countries, and the European Union. So our role is really to support farming communities in Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific to produce more, better foods, and to also make agriculture profitable for smallholder farmers.
I'm glad you said that. You talked about the profitability in agriculture. How practical is that goal when you consider, you know, the thrust from developed countries to try and push their agricultural products on a developing world? Gentlemen, who wants to respond to that?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, I should say my organization that you just read out is the executive of the Caribbean Farmers Network, and that's what I'm representing. Barbados Agriculture Society, who is hosting, who is one of the coordinators for this event, is a director of the Caribbean Farmers Network. Let me tell you, whoever controls food and water control power, every country must make an effort to have the basic food security and food and nutrition security intact. And the Caribbean, and that's what we're fighting. We're building a platform with the help of CTA, and many partners like AICA, FAO, CARDI, universities, COLA, PCP, etc., to ensure that we have successful, profitable business in agriculture, and also to strengthen our food, regional food and security.
Does this also mean that you're working on partnerships across the region, then not just with those organizations necessarily, but looking at what Caribbean nations have, what strengths, to maybe look at really making the Caribbean single market work?
We have the most nutritious food. A lot of our food that we have thrown away, our roots and tubers, our mangoes, etc., they are the nutritious foods. These are the things that we are aiming to promote at this workshop. For example, 56% of the deaths in the region is from non-communicable disease, bad eating habit, all the junk food that we import from overseas, these are salty food. Why we allow our beautiful, healthy food, which the research are showing, the yams, the dashi, the sweet potatoes, these are the things that create health in the nation.
We know all of that. The problem is, how do you change the culture and the mindset of, say, for example, wealthy landowners who want to use the land for housing development and another development? How do you change the mindset of the average Caribbean person who would rather see a big, lovely tomato from the United States or some other juicy-looking English apple or one of those other things, rather than the golden apple and the other things that we produce?
Partnership. You got to build partnership with the chefs. You got to get the chefs to prepare our foods. You got to get our sports persons to promote our foods, just like what they did in America with milk. You got to, right now, one of the things at this workshop, they're going to have a chef program. Bring all the chefs together to utilize a lot of the roots and tubers, a lot of the local foods. Make them into tasty dishes so that our young people, we have had a few serving of that at the workshop, sweet potatoes, yams. I'm sure, Michael, you could talk a lot about that.
Well, I think also, you see, what's important is the government policy. You know, it's very important that the governments in the region give priority to supporting agriculture. Because unless that happens, it's also very difficult for the local farmers to compete with what's being imported from outside. So I think that's very critical. Also, I think in this forum, what we're trying to do is to bring experience from other islands like the Pacific and the Indian Ocean islands, so that they can also share their experience with the Caribbean.
And you're not necessarily talking about cutting out completely maybe that English apple that people like, but cutting down and growing more, and for us to consume more of what we grow, yes?
Yes, basically, I mean, if you look at now, the Caribbean imports about $5 billion of food every year to feed the local population as well as the tourist industry. So even if part of that can be supplied from local sources, it could make a huge difference for the economy as well as for the nutrition, the health of the population.
A significant amount of that could be saved, and I'm wondering, because you hear everyone talking about getting the chefs to serve this stuff to all the visitors to our shores. What happens if we start eating it, as opposed to to the Irish potatoes for French fries, sweet potato fries, breadfruit fries, all of those kinds of things? If we start eating it, because we consume more than the visitor, that could have a significant impact.
And the media have a real strong role to play in this.
Yeah, if you got money and buy some ads, we can play the part. But seriously, no, the partnerships. Is that is that what we talked about? But how do you change the culture? How do you get little children to start appreciating a nice soursop punch or that kind of thing?
Start at the kindergarten level. Start early. If you start to work early on the children, for example, in preschools, in school feed program, start to introduce these dishes. Once you introduce them with partnership with the media to promote them, people develop in taste. I have now, we now have schools in Guyana and different places that we're working with who are using cassava flour, who are using sweet potato flour. We right now have a program working with CABA and the FAO where they're trying to blend cassava, potato flour with wheat flour to make it more nutritious. And these states are taking it up, but it requires government policy, government incentive. It requires joint effort with the private sector. And that's what we're trying to build, partnership for that trust.
As we continue all these discussions about this agri-food sector, what can you tell us about maybe some of the hindrances or the challenges of farmers in the region?
Well, I think some of the issues that we are discussing this week is farmers, especially smallholder farmers, have a big challenge getting access to finance. So if they want to develop their farms, it's very difficult for them to borrow money from the banks, because the banks, they think that agriculture is risky and the farmers don't have collateral and all that. So we are looking at some innovative ways of making finance available to farmers.
Are you in a position to mention any of this possible type of funding right now, and whether this will also be there for those who want to create the processing plants? Because that, from what I know, is a part of the challenge as well.
Well, one of the keys is organization. Regional organizations like CAFAN, if they make sure that their members are well organized, they can together go to the banks, and there are also development organizations like the EU, which make it easier for farmers to borrow money, because they provide some support, guarantee schemes that can make it easier for farmers to borrow. So that we are looking at different ways, and everyone is really keen to support
Nice.
this initiative.
What other areas are you discussing during this forum? What other issues?
Well, again, as I said, this whole issue of the finance issue. We are looking at, for example, young people. How do you get them really interested to go into agriculture, using technologies? The adding value to the whole production process. So it's not just farming, but the whole process. Farm to fork. We look at the entire process, so that people become more interested in farming.
Excellent. Well, the forum has already begun, but it goes until the 6th. So is it too late if persons hearing this discussion want to be a part of anything? Are there any opportunities for some of those farmers or anyone interested,
Or the public generally?
to come and hear or be a part of at this point?
Well, we still have, especially the last 2 days, on Thursdays and Friday, we have an open forum focusing very much on agribusiness development for the Caribbean. So there will be quite a good opportunity for some people.
Where will this take
to
place?
come. It's at the LESC. Is it?
Lloyd
Erskine
Erskine
Sanford
Sanford Center.
Yes.
Excellent. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. It was really interesting. This is a conversation that needs to continue, because I feel very passionate about the development of agriculture and the resurgence of agriculture if we're to survive.
And it can help us grow out of poverty. grow out of the depression we're
That's
in
the takeaway.
economically. Yes.
All right, gentlemen.
Excellent.
Michael Hello and Jethro Green, good talking with you this morning, and we just hope that people listening will remember the importance of agriculture to our economies.
Yes.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go across the street to the University of Parkinson in the Pine to hear some beautiful music in a moment.